Imagine the perfect hospital where a team of doctors and nurses of disparate ages work with some of the hottest teenage TikTok stars of today. Together, they can ignore all hospital safety regulations and patient privacy laws to make sure you get the most chaotic care possible. As a patient, I would feel good knowing that the people assigned to care for me are hooking up in a supply closet while my opened wound begins to fester. This lovely hospital exists in the world of Attaway General, a Brat TV web series starring some famous TikTokers like DiRamio, her ex-boyfriend Griffin, a girl with eyeliner, some other girl. There's lots of people. I should pull up their IMDb because I'm a little lost. But girl, this hospital is run like a circus. Today we'll be diving into the first 2 episodes of season 1 of Attaway General to figure out what? Come on. Stay tuned for another medically dramatic installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is a playlist where we dive into the most popular movies and TV and media on the internet and figure out, can we please not? We take a look and we decide, no, please don't. And today is no exception. We've got something real special to watch. But first, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll never be outside the loop. Also, you'll notice that I'm wearing my very own aloe plant merch, everybody. Oh, and I'm not even showing the plant. Aloe plant, now I'm not showing the shirt. Aloe plant merch is here to stay, everybody, or at least for the time being. Check out the links in the description below. Episode 1 begins at the Attaway General emergency room, and the head of all of these teen volunteers named Nina is setting the scene for us.
The Teen Volunteer, or TV program, is what you make of it. The more you prove yourself, the more rewarding your time will be.
You know that thing where you don't start talking until after you've turned a corner? It happens all the time in real life. For instance, when you're in a school play. The one thing you'll notice about the main cast of Attaway General, the show really tries to give them all very distinct personalities, but the one thing that all of them have in common is the ability to roll their eyes in reaction to something.
Transpo.
The director said, if you don't know what to do, just roll your eyes and we'll get it. You're teenagers. Dixie is sort of like not happy to be there. Same with Jack, he's sort of the bad kid. Kit is like the goody two-shoes who really wants to become a doctor. And Lauren is like the sweet girl who just wants to be nice and help everybody. It seems like throughout the show, it's a little unclear about whether these teen volunteers are actually somehow nurses too, because a lot of the times they'll be getting involved in procedures that someone without a medical license should have no business touching. Nina tells them that they're basically here for the first year to watch over kids and do clerical work, but then all of a sudden they're like, hey, you, camp counselor, why don't you come stick your whole arm inside this guy's pelvis? And they're like, sure thing. For anyone who's been in an actual hospital before, the setting seems a little different. Nina and later her friend Meave continue to give a tour of the hospital and all of the fun characters we're gonna meet throughout the season.
This is Nurse Sandy. She's the heart of the ER. Make her laugh and bring her chocolates, and you're golden. But if you make her mad, you're gonna have a really rough road at this hospital.
Georgia, why did your patient die? Well, I tried to ask Nurse Sandy to call for help, but I didn't have any chocolate, so she's just making it a little rough for me here. It just makes it seem really unprofessional that you have to bribe her with chocolate to help you care for your patients who are trying to survive. Someone clearly watched Shonda Rhimes' Grey's Anatomy here because they want this Nina person to be their head mentor, like that woman in Grey's Anatomy, but none of it's really translating properly. It's all like the sugar-free ice cream version of that. A big bus accident happens, so Nina? Yeah, Nina has to leave, and we cut to our title sequence, which is giving me big ER/Grey's Anatomy vibes. Doom, 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 doom. I love a CGI synapse firing. Like I said, they really want to make it seem like these people come in as the lowest level interns you could possibly be, but then they're all like straight up triage nurses in the next scene.
As first years, you're responsible for Franklin.
Who's Franklin?
This is Franklin. Gotta make sure you clean him out nightly.
Shouldn't we be doing more than learning how to make coffee?
Yeah, you can learn a lot more if you go to medical school. That's when you're gonna get a real job here, honey. Until then, why don't you just worry about Franklin, the coffee pot that we first some reason put eyes on it. I think it's supposed to be a joke like, ugh, doctors and nurses, we need our coffee. But for some reason, I'm just like, shut up, you don't know what doctors and nurses do. The only doctor you've ever seen was a tin bucket full of nails. It's a Twilight Zone hospital full of clowns and idiots. That's all I can say. But Kit and Dixie named Georgia is Dixie. Kit and Georgia are sent to the shed, which is what they call the supply closet. I think they're trying to inject some realism into the story by giving things like a cute nickname. Anyway, in the shed, we get some real character revelation.
Studies show we form lasting impressions about others within seconds of meeting. So I can't be with you in a closet when I meet Dr. Henry. He's the most brilliant surgeon in the state.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have the same accolades as a father.
You're his daughter? You're so lucky and you don't even know it.
You're giving me the impression I don't want to be in the same room as you.
It's hard to explain what makes an actor seem realistic versus an actor seem like they're just reading lines. It's something about being present in the moment and actually putting the realistic emotion behind your words and thinking like the character. All of these actors, I just can see them trying to remember their lines, wait for their cue, and then say their thing at the right time. None of them really seem to be acting in like the true sense of the word, except maybe Nina, she has some moments. And the adult actors, they tend to be more capable in general. In any case, we learn that Georgia's dad is the main doctor at this hospital, maybe even the only doctor, because he's the only one we've seen. Meanwhile, Rosie and Jack are sent to watch the kids eat in the pediatric wing.
Why did you volunteer to work at a hospital?
I got arrested. Beats juvie.
Oh yes, that age-old choice between going to jail, where you're there for 24 hours a day because you're a danger to society, or volunteering for a few hours at a hospital where you have direct access to children. I feel like I have to blame the book Holes for this. That book, they were like, you've got two options, Camp Green Lake or jail. And I think that put this like idea in America's subconscious that kids are given some sort of choice when they're punished to the point of imprisonment. No, not usually. Also, I want to know what sort of violent offense this kid committed in order to be almost sent to juvie. He doesn't tell us, by the way, and at least not yet, maybe in later episodes. But I'm only up to episode 3, you guys, because every time I turn this on, my brain turns to a pile of salt. It is fun how they're just 8 minutes long each, though. It makes it very reasonable for me. Kit sneaks off into the emergency room basically right away because she decides she doesn't want to be useful in any meaningful way. I'm just gonna go stand around where I can't help. Thanks, honey. There's all this chaos because of this bus accident, and that's where Kit meets Holden, played by Eric Montanez.
What do you need?
My doctor, I'm a little worried right now because I'm losing a lot of blood.
You should be fine to wait a little. If you hit an artery, you would have passed out by now.
That's comforting.
Use this instead. Lots of pressure.
Hey, can we ask those teen volunteers to stop sticking their dirty fingers into people's wounds? This girl really just brushed her hair with her hand and then was like, let's touch your arm here, it's so bloody. Can we get some gloves for Kit? Anybody? No? Mittens maybe? She's like, you should be fine. If we hit an artery, you'd be passed out by now. Yeah, and also I think someone would be with him. I think there would be some nurses or doctors around him. This is an ER. He's not waiting for someone to bring him his shoe size at the Foot Locker. Rosie and Jack are trying their best to feed one of these patients.
You need to eat to get big and strong and feel better. How about the airplane?
Jack, Rosie, I'm not sure if anyone explained to you the reason why we wear those hair nets, but it's to keep your hair out of the food. So I'm not really sure why all of your hair is outside the cap right now. Someone even took strategic curls out of Diego's hairnet to be like, oh, that'll look better. Yeah, my son came back from the hospital for chicken pox, but he's been coughing up hairballs for 3 days. Any reason why? Georgia is sleeping in the shed, which is a supply closet, when she's approached by Will, someone who works at the hospital, although we don't know his position yet. This guy is played by Griffin, who I guess they were going out at the time, which might explain why there's some real chemistry in this scene. I noticed that, and I'm not joking. I mean, the acting is bad, but just wait till the end, there's chemistry.
Some of us have work.
Am I supposed to congratulate you?
If you want to.
If I was a teenager and someone pulled that move on me, I would be like, oh, I'm teen pregnant. He was like, if you want to. Those two kids have made out before, you can tell. That's some authenticity. Also, I'll say Griffin is not the worst actor in this. He has some moments where I'm like, oh, boo. But for the most part, he does a solid job. Kit is still just standing around in the ER waiting for someone to make her useful. And someone finally does. Thanks to Dr. what's his name, who's George's dad, Dr. Henry. Great.
BP's too low, I can't find a vein. You, come here.
It's our first day.
Get over here. Squeeze as tight as you can. Now don't worry about hurting her. Good. Minute longer. And we're in.
Good, good. Not only is he not wearing gloves while giving that injection, but his thumb actually touches the needle as it goes into the arm. Dr. Henry was absent during the day of med school where they talked about MRSA. Come in for a bus accident, little girl, leave with a flesh-eating virus. We love that for you. Dr. Henry, however, is very impressed with Kit for how this procedure went, even though he just got the dirt from under his fingernails into that girl's body.
Good job.
Kit.
Kit, I'm Dr. Henry.
I know, you're amazing. I read your book. It was amazing, and that was...
Yeah, amazing.
Even the doctor's like, shut the f up. Everything that comes out of Kit's mouth gets more and more annoying as the series goes on. I don't know if that's supposed to be her arc. I know these are just teenagers, but I mean, I'm trying to get medical treatment here. Georgia joins Jack and Rosie in that kid's room where he won't eat. I can't stand a child actor who doesn't get any lines, because it's like, these are situations where a kid should be talking or making noise, but instead he's just like looking around. On union movie sets or with, you know, in the Screen Actors Guild, there's such things as an under 5 actor, which means you have lines, but under 5. You have to get paid a certain amount if you're in SAG, or if you're not in SAG and they give you under 5 lines, you get a waiver to join SAG if you have the money. If you're just an extra who's getting the standard $75 to $100 a day, they really don't want you to talk at all. And that's what this kid's doing. He's being conspicuously silent to make sure he has under 5 lines, is what it feels like.
We've had to deal with a demon. We can't leave until he eats, but we've tried everything.
Okay, well, this demon can hear you. Maybe don't insult the child right in front of his face. Bedside manner. Also, nothing points out an actor who doesn't know what to do with their lines as much as one of those forced repetitions. If you're, like, frustrated with something, you might repeat certain words. You're like, this demon won't eat. We've tried everything. But instead, she kind of read it like a grocery list.
But we've tried everything.
We've tried everything. Ah. So instead of calling him a demon to his face, Dixie has some solutions here. I know her name is Georgia in the show. Georgia uses toys to bribe the kids, which is, you know, smart.
Excellent choice, and you can have her. But first...
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's right. Crunch your quiet pretzels, little kid. I like Dixie D'Amelio. I think she's so pretty and her hair is so gorgeous. She's got lots of potential. But you know that these kids were offered this opportunity to be in a TV series, more or less. I doubt the director of this series is really pushing them to their limit to get emotional gravitas into the scenes. It's probably more like, oh yeah, let's just get through it, read your lines, people will watch it because you're in it. So who knows? I mean, I doubt that they had really strong direction on the set, or that any of them are even thinking too much about their performances. So who's to say how good the acting would be if they were able to take it a little more seriously? That's what I'll say. The kids are closing up their first day at Attaway General, baby.
First I stuck into the ER and there was this boy, he was bleeding everywhere, so I saved his life.
What part of you wrapping that bandage around his arm was saving his life? Also, I'm pretty sure you said to him,
You should be fine to wait a little.
So I'm not sure why you're talking such a big game here to all your new friends. No one thinks you're cool, Kit. Also, we just need to take this opportunity to point out that the costume designer did Kit and Rosie dirty with these blouses. Kit got that silky number straight from Fashion Bug, and I don't know what in the pom-pom, crochet, macrame nonsense we've got over here on Rosie. Literally, your fuzzballs are gonna be falling into people's bodies and chest cavities if you're wearing that in a hospital. You really want all of those microbes from sick people to be landing in every crevice of your beautiful sweater? Most people in a hospital wear scrubs, but at Attaway General, the teen volunteers just get their personalized jackets, which Nina's able to give them now at the end of their day.
While you guys are patting yourselves on the back, your patients are still in critical condition.
All of my patients? Even the kid who was eating pretzels before? What a downer, Nina, geez. At the beginning of the day, it's like, you'll just be doing clerical work and keeping the kids company. Then at the end of the day, it's like, good job, they've all died. Anyway, the kids all get their coats and that makes them officially part of the team here at Attaway G, baby. Now let's dive into episode 2, where we get even more drama and excitement and infections. By the way, the first episode was called TVs, and the second episode is called David and Goliath, which opens with Kit mopping the floor and openly talking to herself like a crazy person.
I did not sign up for a volunteer janitor program. No offense.
The janitor is like, well, too bad. You missed a spot, bitch. That's when Kit runs into her previous patient from the first episode, Holden. But she calls him by a different, ruder name.
Busboy, why are you back here?
Just waiting to get my stitches removed.
Mind if I take a look? Sutures look like they healed nicely.
Oh, mind if I take a look? Puts down dirty mop, comes and puts hand on stitches. What happened between episode 1 and 2 where Kit would even know what good stitching looks like? Like, you don't know anything. You're not a doctor. You're some 14-year-old girl. 16? I don't know teenagers. Teenagers. I don't need teenagers. I know I keep harping on their lack of awareness of germ theory on this show, but that's like the main thing at hospitals. And I know this is a kid show, but like, it was written by adults. So I also just don't think that things that are made for kids can have zero thought put behind them and just that's okay. Like, wouldn't it be cool to show a medical drama for teens that actually gets to real teen issues, or that has like some sort of safety message behind it, like not to do drinking and driving or not to vape or do drugs? Like, they could have had a new episode like that every time and still given us the comedy and the romance. For example, that bus accident that they were all in, why wasn't the bus driver like texting and driving and that's what caused it? And then maybe Griffith here, he comes back because he has popcorn lung from vaping whatever blue raspberry flavored smog, but instead we get, oh, I'm done cleaning the litter box, why don't I now put my hands in your mouth, sir?
I would have used absorbable sutures myself, but then they couldn't bill you twice.
Oh, now you have your opinion on how you would have done it? Who have you ever sutured in your world? I guess because she read Dr. Henry's book, she's also by proxy a doctor. I guess it makes sense though, because after I read A Picture of Dorian Gray, I became a narcissistic drug addict, so there's something there. And while the sutures might be healing just fine, Holden is feeling a little under the weather for some other mysterious reason.
Is that why you're sweating?
I don't feel so hot, if I'm being honest.
Make sure you wash your hands. Hospitals can be a petri dish.
You could take that advice too, Kit. You haven't washed your hands once and you've been making lasagna, flipping pancakes, taking out stitches. The petri dish is now living inside your patient's bloodstream because you've never even cut your fingernails before coming into work. That's some ballsy advice from the girl who just mopped the dirty floor and then went right to work on this guy. She's like, that's the power of Pine Sol, baby.
I gotta go.
Holden is me every time a new episode of this starts. I'm like, ugh. Also, I'm looking at that makeup job on his arm scar. I don't love it. You can clearly see where the appliance, the outline of it has foundation on it. If it were me, I would have just used
Absorbable sutures myself.
this drying blood that I used to always put on everything. It like basically dries to look like a scab and you can just put it where you need it. They did a whole latex appliance, which honestly looks really thick from here. Like they used one of those Halloween ones, but I could be wrong. I would hate to disparage the work of Not TV Dodd and Nancy, who were the head makeup people on this, but I'm just seeing that, so. Attaway General loves to do that Grey's Anatomy thing or House thing where like, something happens at the cold open that leads us in, or we're like, oh no, danger is afoot. And then we go right into that quiet, graphically charged intro. When Kit and Georgia are talking, Kit informs her that boy she was flirting with in the supply closet named Will is actually the surgical protege. And having a teenager to assist you with surgeries in a hospital is definitely something that never happens, so it makes a lot of sense that this would exist in this universe. I love how the writers of this show basically just invented hospital roles for any plot device they needed. They're like, so why is he here? He's the surgical protege. What does that mean? You know, he like hands out the scalpels and makes TikToks while the person's dying. I think I called Will a good actor at one point in this. I was not referring to this upcoming scene where we have no effort from either of these two.
Smart is the new sexy. I read that somewhere.
Oh, you read too? I'm impressed.
I read lots of things. Novels, magazines, instruction manuals.
Later, teacher's pet.
That dialogue was a crime against humanity. What the hell do I care what you read? He's like, I read lots of things. Books, scripts for this TV show that I'm reading right now. The 4 TVs are assigned to some special patients who are in the hospital because of a bullying incident. Georgia and Kit are assigned to the larger patient who they take to be the bully, while Rosie and Jack are sent to the younger, smaller boy who they feel bad for because he's apparently just been beat up by that guy.
How about an ice pack for that eye?
No, I'm good.
Can I get you some pudding? Juice?
Just juice, please.
Could you be a little bit nicer? Poor kid's been through enough.
Whatever, he could have some manners.
Yes, and is it good manners to put your dirty hospital shoes up on the patient's bed? All of this unsupervised patient interaction from a bunch of teenagers seems like a major liability on the part of Attaway General. Kit and Georgia are with the other patient, being awful, making him annoyed, which is not something they were ever asked to do. Kit is out there reading everybody's chart. It's like, do you know what HIPAA is? There's something called HIPAA laws that protect my rights as a patient. It doesn't mean that any 15-year-old who got dropped off here by their mom can go and see what my medication list is.
You know I've never been in a fight? Maybe you can give me some pointers. Right hook, left jab.
On behalf of the patient, can you please stop jibber-jabbering?
Who says jibber-jabbering?
My mom used to, if you must know.
The jibber-jabbering line was just some shoehorned character development. We don't know much about Dixie's mother at this point yet, but we're gonna find out later. Also, imagine being Kit and asking somebody who just committed a violent crime to teach you how. This was the smart one last episode, and all of a sudden in this one, she's like, what's a patient? Do they have feelings? Who cares?
200 pounds. So, was that your plan to lose a few? Start a fight and hope he punches back right in the jaw? You look fit though. I'm sure that's not why you started it. Juice. You need juice.
At Attaway General, it seems like a cup of juice fixes just about everything. Every 2 seconds they're like, juice, pudding, and the patients are like, antibiotics, chemotherapy. That would be better for me. When Kit goes to get this man some juice, she sees Holden being wheeled by in the hospital, and he seems really sick. Really, Kit, you're crying with this guy you met literally twice? I don't think you're cut out for hospital work if this is how attached you get. Also, here's that girl's acting method to conjure tears. I'm gonna do it too. That boy is sick? Even though I touched his arm? It's like, you probably made him sick when you touched him with your dirty mop water. The smaller, scrawnier patient from the bullying kerfuffle sneaks out by saying he needs to go to the bathroom. He tricks Rosie, and then we see him just behind Kit there, sneaking into the other kid's room. And this is where the kids at Attaway General learn an important lesson about making assumptions.
If you hadn't snitched, I'd still be on the lacrosse team. I should have hit you harder!
You're supposed to protect your patient, kid, not abandon him.
Why does he need protecting?
Because Davey's not the bully.
And my guy's the bully?
Snitch on me again and I will break your jaw a second time.
You do that, you have to deal with me.
All right, everyone back to the room.
It sucks that this hospital can hire real security guards to watch over violent patients. They're like, no, I have my preteen daughter for that. Thank you, we're fine here, officer. Also, I'm pretty sure this was exactly a plot point in like Grey's Anatomy or something, where it was a prisoner and a victim in the same hospital, and they completely misjudged who was who. And this is almost like what I'm talking about. Like, they're being told not to make assumptions about their patients, but they never really go too far with this, and they could have made it even more meaningful. Like, instead of being like, my guy's the bully, it's like, would you really call someone the bully as though they're a character in a TV show when they're your patient? None of it reads as realistic to me. I read a book about behind the scenes of ER once, and that's a medical show that really took its time to make the hospital setting feel real. All of the bottles and medications you saw on set were actually real brands because they didn't want those fake Greek labels, which is like something that looks just slightly off from real, like that orange juice container we saw. They're called Greek labels because in the old days on TV, they would put on the packages Greek symbols so that you would never be accidentally showing a real brand name that wasn't paid product placement. And in ER, they thought that those Greek labels would actually distract from the scene more, so they used real medical products. Some of the nurses you saw on screen were actual on-staff nurses that the show hired as consultants, and the cast had to work tirelessly to repeat that medical jargon when they're doing a walk and talk, stuff that adds hours and hours of production time and millions of dollars probably to the budget. So I'm not super surprised that this TV show is doing a lot less, but I mean, they could still be trying a little harder, don't you know? Like, if you're gonna steal everything from Grey's Anatomy and ER, wouldn't you also take some of the tips about how to make it seem realistic when it comes to the medical stuff? Anyway, the kids are all idiots and almost got someone beat up under their care because they just assumed the bigger person was a bully. I mean, one of them had a broken jaw and the other one was talking just fine, so where were their heads at? Kit is understandably worried about her non-boyfriend, who she's met for 3 minutes in total, so she approaches Nurse Sandy, who we know to be the brains of this whole operation.
Can you tell me what happened to Holden?
No updates, kid. Holden has a severe heart condition that was undiagnosed. Lucky he was at the hospital.
Is he gonna be okay?
It's not a good prognosis, but he's at Attaway General getting the best care there is.
Is it really the best care if the nurses will just divulge my personal information because someone gave them a candy bar? If you say so, Sandy. Let me get you another cookies and cream bar over here. You deserve it. So, what's her name? Nina, the mentor of these people who's 4 years older somehow. She catches up with the tough one. Jake? Is his name Jake? What's Diego's name? Jack. She catches up with Jack to inspire some more enthusiasm in him because he literally doesn't want to be here and he's putting his shoes on people's beds.
And it turns out it was really good.
Well, good for you, but I don't want to be here. I'd rather be in bed.
Give it time, Jack. This could be good for you.
seems like Diego's acting style is to give you lots of head movement with zero facial expression. Is that what you saw in some movie somewhere? Were you watching Max Headroom? This episode is where we get our first bit of interaction between Georgia and her dad, Dr. Henry, and we get a little bit more about her mother, who I thought would have been dead based on she used to say jibber jabbering, but it turns out she's just divorced.
Oh, hey, your mom texted. She's not going to be able to see you next weekend. Sure, come on. Don't have all day.
Coming.
Don't tell me to come on, I'm literally right next to you. And what do you mean we don't have all day? We're going home from work. It's the end of the day. Where are we rushing to, Dad? I'm very interested to see how their relationship plays out, because it seems like there's a lot of tension there. The dad's really busy saving lives, and Georgia's like, he should be saving my life. I'm gonna get myself hit by a car. What do you guys think of Attaway General? Is this the most realistic medical drama you've ever seen, or nah? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinions. I'll be doing episodes 3 and 4 soon. I'll probably do a full-length movie and then alternate it with shorter things. I feel like that's the kind of pattern I've been on lately. So let me know what else I should watch, whether it's on YouTube, it's a short film, or it's a full-length movie. I love hearing all of it. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for subscribing or just watching this video. It means so much, and your comments make me laugh and crack up, so thank you. But make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this, and check out the playlist below for more. See my last video on the movie Airplane Mode starring Logan Paul. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for getting your sutures dissolved with me today. I will see you next time.